Hello, world. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studios right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It's so good to be with all of you today. We're broadcasting live on Rumble. We're live on Twitter, Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV, every podcast platform you can imagine. We are live on Facebook, Substack, and YouTube. It's great to be with all of you today. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. You know, we have a big show today. Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to join us in just a moment. There's a lot going on, especially involving a permanent, it looks like, merger between United States and Israeli militaries and intelligence. It's insane. Buried in a National Defense Authorization Bill, Section 219. We're going to be talking about that and other things today with the amazing MTG. But I want to say hello to all of you on the live chat. Chronozone 777 is with us today. Bye Bye is with us. KC12112, great to see you. Hey Zen Woman. Bill Benz is with us today. And of course, Buskman, CJP Rumble, all of the live chats are hopping. If you're watching right now, please give the SJ Show a thumbs up and share with everyone you know. That's how we pump up that algorithm. As you know, the show always thwarted by those algorithms, but this is how we grow organically. I want to bring Marjorie Taylor Greene in right away because we only have her for about a half an hour, and I want to devote as much time as possible. But if you're watching right now, push this out. If you're watching on Twitter, retweet and leave a comment because that's how we're going to reach that max audience. Without further ado, our good friend and hopefully regular guest on the SJ Show, she's free as a bird. Right? Free as a bird, able to do whatever she wants, say whatever she wants. Marjorie Taylor Greene, former congresswoman in the United States Congress, still kicking up hornets' nests and making trouble, which I absolutely love. Welcome to the show. I'm glad that you're with us today.
Thanks for having me, Shannon. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. I wanted to talk to you particularly about this Section 219 of the NDAA. Thomas Massie was on with Redacted yesterday going over all of the horrifying details of this provision, bill buried in a must-pass spending bill. And, you know, he's blowing the lid off of it. Your thoughts on all of this and all the shenanigans going on in D.C. right now as they try to sneak this in you know, underneath the noses of the American people?
Well, I think it's important to first recognize how expensive the NDAA is. It's an extremely expensive budget that funds the Pentagon and all of our military. And I know both of us, and I'm sure your entire audience supports our military. Of course, we support the great men and women that serve, and we support our veterans. But over the years, I mean, I was there for several years voting on the NDAA. It continually got more and more expensive. And every single year, the Pentagon fails its audit, doesn't fail its audit by a small amount of money, fails the audit by billions and billions of dollars. And so, you know, the NDAA, which is the National Defense Authorization Act, is something that gets fought about a lot every single year it's passed. And so here we are, we're in July, and the House is working to pass their version. The Senate will work on it as well. However, the one sticking point is something that we have never seen before. We're not fighting about the massive amount, over $1 trillion that the president and his administration is asking for. We're talking about a section within the NDAA that is tying our military and our defense production with Israel's military intelligence and their defense production tied with our intelligence. And, you know, you could name any foreign country in the world and everyone would say, why in the world are we tying America with another foreign country? And it should be okay to say that. However, you know, we've got people that are like, wait, but this is Israel. And they give a pass to Israel for everything. But the reality is this is a foreign country, and we should never tie any foreign country's military to our own military. And then the other concerning part, Shannon, is that once this is passed, it will not be undone. And then the other part is it will go completely invisible to the American people.
Right.
You right now the American people can say, "Wait a minute, why do we fund Israel at 3.8 billion dollars every single year?" And you can complain about that because it's something you're able to see
Right.
and know about. But when it goes into the intelligence world and it goes into government contracts and defense production for all types of weapons, you aren't going to see that anymore.
Right.
That's not like a website you can look up. There's not a post on social media you can read about that. That's not something that's going to be on the news. And so this is one of the most concerning things that happened, and I am so outraged by it. I consider it complete betrayal of
Right.
any member of Congress that would vote for this. I consider it even treason. I
Yes.
think it is treasonous that our Congress would do this. And I am shocked and outraged it's happening from a Republican controlled Congress and a Republican controlled White House.
Now, you mentioned the black budgets. You mentioned the audit, right? So
Mhm.
they audit, and essentially the DoD comes up short every time. There is
Yeah.
missing money, which is the equivalent of a black budget, and that's incredibly concerning. They're essentially stealing money. I mean, hiding money. We don't know how that money is being spent, and the idea that a foreign government could come in and through this merger, right, have access to secret budgets, black budgets, American intelligence, full range. I mean, it's unbelievable on its face, and the fact that there is no oversight to this, it's completely outside of the Constitution. It takes the power away from Congress and the American people. There is no oversight, no scrutiny. They
Mhm.
essentially just have it's in I agree with you. Like, treason is the word to use, because we are handing over an enormous amount of power to a foreign government and appointing what an overseer. I mean, the position of the person who is overseeing all of these mergers isn't even an official position within the bureaucracy that could be scrutinized or you know taking a look at. Like, it's crazy to me.
Right. And no, it is crazy. And so we can talk about the financial side as one thing. And I'll remind everyone that it was Pete Hegseth himself, as he was going through confirmation, he said that he would pass the audits.
Right.
Doge, back when Doge was a really important thing to the administration. I love Doge. I thought this is one of the best things we could do. And Pete Hegseth said he would pass those audits. However, he's on his way to failing audits big
Right.
time. But
Right.
then there's another side of it. So simultaneously, while this Section 219 that ties Israel into our military intelligence and defense production and government contracts, there's this other argument happening and you hear Netanyahu talk about it, and you hear people talk about it, and they're saying, "Oh, well, we're going to end, our reliance on America financially." And
Right.
Netanyahu's like, "Oh yeah, I'm for that. We will stop taking money from America." Well, it's because once this happens, they won't need money from
Right.
America.
Right.
Actually, they'll be getting more than they could ever bargain for. And this
And we
has
wouldn't even know. We wouldn't even know
no,
how much they're getting because of the black budgets. So they don't need the
well, I wouldn't.
appropriations. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if black budget is the correct term, but it's the
Okay.
lack of transparency
Okay.
and it's the lack of oversight, true oversight, that you could term as a black budget, but they'll get more than they could ever ask for because they have full access to our military intelligence, which means there's further implications of that, Shannon. That means they can operate in an aggression, a military aggression, and in war and in attacks against whomever they consider their enemies in a much bolder way because
Right.
they have full access to our military intelligence.
It's insane. It's insane. It's almost like a permanent alliance snuck through a defense authorization bill when it should be debated in public. It should essentially be a treaty. That's really what we should be talking about. If you were to, if it were
Right.
to actually, if they were going to go about this in a constitutional way, we would be discussing a type of treaty, and it's all getting shoved through. Um, under the cloak of darkness. Now,
Yep.
I know that Anna Paulina Luna offered a bill that, or it was some kind of mechanism that took the teeth away from this. They're kind of pitching it as, well, we took out certain
Mhm.
terminology
Oh.
and now it's not so bad anymore. Can you explain that sleight
Yes.
of hand?
Yes, I would love to explain it because it's a big lie.
Right.
So the NDAA, whenever there's a massive spending bill like the NDAA, many members of Congress, any member of Congress, can introduce amendments to try to change parts of the bill or add things to the bill. And so I think the NDAA had, I don't know the number, but I know it's over 1,400 amendments, a massive amount of amendments. Now, that's not out of the ordinary. There's oftentimes many amendments to a big bill like the NDAA. So, Thomas Massie, back on June 16th, and this is really important, Thomas Massie introduced an amendment to completely strip out Section 219, take the
Mhm.
whole thing out,
Right.
which is the right thing to do.
Right.
His amendment was amendment number 2. It was the second amendment introduced in all of Congress. Now, remember, I've told you there's like 1,400 or more
Right.
amendments. So that's how quick he was to the gate to say, let's strip this out. He made it
Mhm.
public, he made it known, and everyone knew he did it. And I think Ro Khanna and some others supported him. And he should have had support from people like Anna Paulina Luna, but he didn't. It was later on until the end of June, Anna Paulina Luna introduced her own amendment, and her amendment only struck the word, what was the word?
I have it.
Integration.
Yep.
It struck the word integration. So that was her amendment. It wasn't anything else, but we're going to strike the word integration. And if you read the language in section 219 and you take out the word integration, it's arguably worse because they skip integration and they go straight to full fusion. So
Right.
that was
Right.
not a good idea.
Yeah.
And then oddly, just in the past week, she goes and introduced an amendment, her own amendment to totally strip out Section 219, and I'll call that Anna Paulina Luna's "cover her ass" amendment.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of that goes on. Like a lot of members of Congress, if they're trying to act like they're fighting on something, they'll
Right.
introduce amendments that they can talk about, but there's really nothing to it. And that's what she did. If she really wanted to strip out and totally get rid of Section 219, she would have co sponsored and supported Thomas
Right.
Massie's amendment because his was the second one. Hers was, I think her amendment, it was like 1,300 and something that she introduced to strip Section 219. So this is the bullshit that
Mm.
happens that a lot of people you don't know about because you're not in it. It's just hard for the American people to have an understanding of this.
Mm.
And then there's the second layer, Shannon, where the rules committee is completely controlled by the Speaker of the House, whether it's Democrat or Republican.
Okay.
That committee belongs to the Speaker. And
Right.
every bill that gets a vote on the House floor has to go through the Rules Committee, unless it comes out of a discharge petition like the Epstein Files resolution. So, all of these amendments that are introduced for the NDAA itself, all of the amendments have to go through the Rules Committee. And if the Rules Committee agrees that an amendment can get a vote, it passes through the Rules Committee and it gets scheduled for a vote on the House floor. And all of the amendments get voted before the actual bill comes for a final vote.
Right.
So the Rules Committee, at the Speaker's direction, Speaker Mike Johnson, totally ruled that Thomas Massie's amendment number 2, by the way, to totally strip out Section 219, they ruled it invalid. They voted against it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and won't even give it a vote on the floor, which would have given it a debate.
Right.
Now yeah, so no
Un-
debate. No debate. You don't even get to talk about it.
right. And this is on the Republican side. This is the Republicans
Mhm.
shoving through
Mhm.
this aspect of the bill that will essentially fuse. You use the word fusion.
Yep.
The U.S. and Israeli militaries, also our intelligence. We have known the government of Israel to be hostile to Americans in many ways and to American initiatives. We saw $30 million dropped on Tom Massie in his district to take him
Mhm.
out because he would not uphold and support the initiatives of the Israeli state. And at this point, it's very concerning, Marjorie, to many Americans that this influence now that Israel has, I mean, they're going for more. They want more money. They want it in secret. They want to bury it in this bill. And no Republican will stand up against them because they're so intimidated by what happened to Massie in Kentucky. They are dumping money into the pockets of representatives and senators like Anna Paulina Luna, who takes money from AIPAC. The
Mhm.
organization is gaining in power and in strength. We now know that the U.S. is fighting their battles for them. We're fighting their wars for them. They are not going to get involved in Iran because we're sacrificing our own boys and girls, our own military, over in Iran. We know that, it seems like the lock grip on this country, our institutions, our politicians, our bureaucracies, our legal system is tightening by this country that does not share our interests.
Mhm.
What do you make of all of that? Like, who is wagging the dog at this point? Who's in control? Because it doesn't seem like anyone in Washington, D.C., including the president of the United States, has any agency. They're simply
Yeah.
bowing and doing the will of this foreign government and their foreign agency. And when you look at the links between Epstein, his network, which was vast, a criminal network in Israel, it's terrifying. So these are how these things fuse
Mhm.
together. What do you make of in terms of a big picture on this? Because this is really concerning. We're concerning. We're losing our country and our
Mhm.
sovereignty, and it's treasonous.
It is treasonous, and we are losing our sovereignty, and that's the most shocking thing about it. However, I think this has been going on for decades. I think it was just something that was hidden from the American people, and many people would watch the news and believe what they saw in the news. They believed what they read in the newspaper. They believed basically the propaganda that they were told because we didn't know this was going on. We didn't know we should question. And that was, I'm talking about years ago.
Yeah,
In recent years, it has been a lot different,
right.
where people question everything. And they used to call us conspiracy theorists, but now we're like, oh yeah, I'll wear that label all day long because we're the ones that are right pretty
Mhm.
much all of the time. No, I think this has been going on for a long time, Shannon. And the reason is they are so ingrained in funding political candidates and politicians. And there's also, now I just want to be clear. I try to always make this clear. This isn't about Jewish people
Right,
because they always spin it back on us and say, oh, you're being anti-Semitic. No, I'm not. I love all people. I'm not judging anyone for their religion or
right,
for their identity. I'm talking about the secular government of Israel, and I'm
right.
talking about their military. And I'm talking about the way they have embedded themselves in our United States government and embedded themselves in basically funding the campaign coffers of politicians on both sides of the party. On the Republican side, it is almost 100%.
It's
And
crazy.
that's not just at the federal level, that is on state levels as well. Many people don't understand that state governments and state entities and organizations also fund Israel in different types of mechanisms. One of them is they buy Israeli bonds. I know the
Huh.
state of Georgia buys Israeli bonds, but many other states across the country do the same thing. So it's not just coming from the federal level that we are funding Israel, supporting all of their interests, providing defense for their country, et cetera, et cetera. We're also funding them and supporting them financially from state levels as well. And so the Israeli government for decades has developed an extraordinary relational campaign with our politicians. They invite politicians on trips every year to Israel. They welcome them in and very warmly, and then they educate them on
Right.
exactly what they want these American politicians to know about Israel and all of their issues. And not only
Well,
do
that's a
that.
nice way. What about the blackmail? I mean, what about blackmail, coercion? I mean, your thoughts on that? Because that was a major aspect of the Epstein operation was, for the ones that they couldn't play nice with and invite them to Israel and
Mhm.
educate them. Like, what about the ones who, they had entangled in salacious, perhaps, information that was gleaned from, their operations through networks like the Epstein network. Your thoughts?
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts on that. That's why I left Congress.
Right, right.
Um, yeah, no, the Epstein files, I think, is at the crux of a lot of this. Jeffrey Epstein was completely ingrained in the Israeli government and Israeli intelligence, and he was ingrained in our own government with our government leaders, business leaders all over the world, and that is what a lot of this network is all about. And it has been covered up from the very highest level of our government, from the president himself. It has been completely covered up. He fought it. I saw President Trump fight this Epstein files probably bigger than I've ever seen him fight anything. And
Wild.
yeah,
Yeah.
he fought me and called me a traitor because I wouldn't stand with him on that. And I'm so glad. I'll never apologize for that. That's one of
Good
the
for
best
you.
things I did.
Absolutely.
However, I think it is continuing. Many people, quite a few of us that have known President Trump personally, we know there's a difference in him.
Mhm.
And you know, I uh, I saw it happen heading into the summer of 2025.
Mhm.
Is there was a change in the things he was focused on, the issues that seemed to matter to him. He was starting to take stances that were surprising to me, and but that has continued and continued. I saw Joe Kent say the same thing. He
Right.
said spring summer of 25. So it's funny that kind of tracks. And yeah, I think the Epstein files continue to be a major issue. It's a source of blackmail, and but there's many sources of blackmail, not just the Epstein files.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to trap politicians in Washington.
Um, Expand on that. That's interesting. That's interesting to me. Like, wait,
Mhm.
because it seems like they're all because from my vantage point outside of Washington D.C., it seems like there are no real, besides Thomas Massie and you and a few others, there are no real advocates of agency who have agency. It seems like it's criminals, puppets, idiots, morons. No, it doesn't seem like anyone is making any decisions based
Mhm.
on what they believe in, what their constituents want, what is good for the country, what is constitutional. Like that
Mhm.
doesn't factor into any of the decisions or the votes that we see in the House of Representatives or the Senate. And then that leads me to believe that all of them are compromised. I mean, all of them, like 99% of them. And so then it makes you ask the question, do we even have a government? Do we have a constitutional republic? Do we have a democracy? Do elections even matter? Like, what are we doing here? I
Yeah.
mean,
Uh,
these are my big questions. I mean, not because nothing makes sense. And it's really frustrating for people who are suffering right now because of the
yeah.
consequences of these corrupted officials who pretend to be politicians. I mean, I'm bloviating a little bit here, but I mean, I think that's the big question. That's the elephant in the room that a lot of people see, but is never discussed. Your thoughts?
Well, I think that's an easy conclusion to come to, and the answer is because it's a completely broken system, and
Yeah.
there's no fixing it. And so, many of these politicians, many of them are there for a career. They are there. They are planning to stay there for as long as possible. They love the power. They love
Yeah.
the fame. They love the, oh, hello, Mr. Congressman. Let me get the door for you, Mr. Congressman. They love all of that. They're addicted to it, to the
Yeah.
point they stay until they die, like Mitch
Right.
McConnell. Like, nobody's seen Mitch McConnell. I mean, I think it's easy to decide the man is dead, but then you can also look at the other side, like Elaine Chao. It's very likely that Elaine Chao is some sort of Chinese asset that is married to one of the most powerful senators in the United States Senate. This is the easiest thing to look at.
Right.
And so when I say many politicians are easily blackmailed or easily captured, it's because they go to Washington, D.C., they're away from their families, they're away from their home, they're away from their community, they're away from everything that made them who they are. They're in a
Mm,
city that is foreign, a city that is not friendly, a city that's more
right.
like an international city, surrounded by massive pressure, press constantly every which way you go. And so it's a very lonely place. And it's
Mm.
easy for people to get captured into all kinds of things, whether it's drug use, sexual scandals, blackmail, financial entanglements that they
Right.
shouldn't get involved in. That it's the easiest place to get captured by Satan. Honestly, it
Mm.
is.
Yeah.
And so if you're not a very grounded person and you don't know exactly who you are and you're not completely centered in yourself, it's easy to fall in those traps. And that's what's happened to many people in Washington, D.C. Um, I don't know how to answer it any other way than that is
Right.
if anybody that understands sin can
Right.
understand why our government is as bad as it is. And
Mm.
there's no fixing it. Also, there's no fixing it for other reasons. It's the way campaigns are financed. You can't get APAC out of our campaigns. So therefore you can't release these people from the stranglehold that Israel and Israel focused donors have on them. And
Mm.
there's a myriad of problems. You can't get the lobbyists out of Washington, D.C. So you're never going to get
Mm.
these politicians to stop being focused from big pharma and big ag and the military industrial complex. So when I say the system is broken, Shannon, I hate to sound like a doomer and a one big black pill, but that is the reality that we're in. And I'll go a step further with that. That's why Americans need to get so angry that they are like, F you to both parties, F
Mm.
you to everybody,
Mhm.
because the American people are getting fucked over the more than anyone. Excuse my language,
All
but
right.
that's the only way you can say it, honestly.
No, I mean, you're saying what everyone is thinking. Everyone who is looking at their credit card bill, everyone who is looking at their property taxes, everyone who's
Yes.
looking at their water bill, their electric bill, their food bills. Every kid who graduates college who can't get a job, can't get a house because the price of housing has inflated to an extent that the
Mhm.
American dream of home ownership has been stolen away from our kids. And we're still arguing over this same stupid political footballs,
Yeah.
Democrat, Republican, to the point where it's almost gaslighting, where it will drive you
Yep.
crazy because you're like, there is a genocide happening in Gaza.
Mhm.
The American dream is being ripped away. Our sovereignty as a nation, our sovereignty as individuals is being stripped away because we
Mhm.
still haven't had a COVID reckoning. We still haven't addressed the fact that our federal government and our Department of Defense rolled out a poisonous injection,
That's
coerced
right.
millions of Americans into taking it, and essentially killed tens of thousands, if not millions of Americans. And we
Yep.
can't even talk about it because no one wants to talk about COVID anymore. We can't talk
Yeah,
about the thousands of businesses that have been put out of business because of the COVID lockdowns and
that's
the
right.
transfer of wealth. I mean, it's like these just gigantic looming problems facing every American. And we have this circus sideshow in Washington, D.C. Like, I
Mhm.
agree, people should be raging against this. And I actually don't think it's doomer what you're saying. I actually think that it is the most enlightening and emancipating position to take when you finally
Mhm.
just throw off the shackles of this fake two-party system. You stop carrying water for people who are degenerate criminals and losers in DC, and you begin to like
Yep.
focus again on virtue and what is good and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and things that actually matter. And I think when
Exactly.
more people do that, then we can revolt peacefully from the bottom up through civil disobedience, peaceful noncompliance, organizational efforts at the local level, resistance. I mean, I saw you just recently interviewed one of the amazing advocates in Georgia who is raging against the data centers. People are
Yeah.
chopping down flock cameras. They're talking about boycotting, federal elections, which I actually think might be a good idea. To be, not
I
all
totally
elections,
agree.
but
Like,
like,
what is there to vote for at this point? Why pay
I,
taxes? I'm
right?
I'm for a full political revolution. I think it's necessary. It's the most American thing that we could do. Have a full
Yeah,
political revolution. Why pay taxes? I mean, we're not
yeah,
even mandated to do it anyways.
I love it.
That's a whole nother lie that there
I love
is.
it. I would love to have you on. I saw that you had an interview with another fellow who I interviewed years ago about a tax revolt, essentially. And
Payman Mataheda. Payman
yes,
Mataheda. He's the
he's
greatest.
he's great.
Freedom
He's
Law School.
yes,
Freedom Law School.
so
Yes.
good. And the problem with that, years ago is that it was kind of a narrow, only a few people were doing it, and they can attack
Mhm.
you if it's just a couple people. But if you had through organization, right? If we spent our time rather than throwing money behind politicians and trying to get good
Mhm.
guys elected into a corrupt system, if we took
Mhm.
all of that money, all of that organization, all that time and energy and focused it on organizing people to revolt peacefully against the federal government, which is unconstitutional, there's no way they could stop us.
No.
There's no way they couldn't. If 5,000 Americans got together and didn't pay their taxes, what are they going to do? They can't do anything with it.
Well,
You know,
let me tell you, Payman Modaheda from the Freedom Law School, I'm going to plug him so hard
let's
because
go.
I think this guy has got it right. He has not been paying federal taxes for over 30 years. And
Bless his
Payman
heart.
Modaheda has never gone to jail.
Wow.
Nope.
That's
And
interesting.
it's exactly. And there's many people like Payman Modaheda from
Yeah.
the Freedom Law School. I'm going to say it over and over again. Freedom Law School. Just look
Okay.
it up. They have a website, and you can educate yourself on the entire process. As a matter of fact, I was shocked to learn that the only people in the United States that are mandated to pay federal taxes are the residents of the District of Columbia.
Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I don't live in the District of Columbia, neither do you.
That's
So,
wild.
no, you're exactly right, Shannon. The way to stand up against this is to say we don't want to participate anymore.
Right.
You guys have screwed us over in so many ways. We're nearly $40 trillion in debt. You and I, we won't see a social security check because it's
Mhm.
going to be bankrupt in 2032. They're
Right.
dragging us off in another war after the president promised no more foreign wars. They
Right.
covered up and protected the Epstein class. There was never any accountability or justice for all the COVID crimes, crimes against humanity. And the
Mhm.
list goes on and on and on and on. And they lie every election cycle. It's
Right.
nothing but lies. So, why wouldn't the American people organize in a political revolution and tell both parties to kiss our ass and
Let's go.
burn the political industrial complex to the ground and
Mhm.
say, we're not paying our taxes?
Right.
I It's the most logical thing we could all do.
From your lips to God's ears, let's get this going. I've been waiting for this revolution for like 10 years. I'm like, listen, it was, I remember when I looked, I'm going to let you go because I know we have a hard stop 30 minutes, but sugar tax Townsend tea. No, sugar stamp Townsend tea.
Mhm.
That was Sam Adams in Boston. And essentially, this was pre-revolution, but they were fed up with the British government. They were fed up with all of the abuses that were
Mhm.
being leveled at the American people. And so one after another, the sugar tax, they're like, F you. The stamp tax, they're
Mhm.
like, F you. Townsend tax, they're like, nope. They organized and just said no. And it resulted in, 3 British warships with their cannons pointed at Boston Harbor. And that's, that was the beginning of the Tea Party Revolution. They threw the tea in, and here we go. So, that is the appropriate demeanor,
Mhm.
I think, that should be prevalent in all Americans right now. And
Right.
and I hope there are more of us. I hope that this like catches fire. And again, we can be peaceful in doing this. All you
Yeah,
have
it's
to do is
not.
say no. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
it.
don't want to violently fight anybody. I
Yeah.
just want to stop them from sending my money off to genocidal wars and
Right.
paying illegal aliens to get all types of services that Americans don't get. It's very simple.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you have a new show, Life with MTG, on
Yep.
YouTube. I want to give you just a second to promote that and whatever it is that you're doing. I love MTG post, Washington D.C. because I think that you just have the opportunity to say whatever you think and address the issues that and the topics that you want to address. So I think you're going to be really, really important in the next 3 to 5 years, and everything that you're saying is pretty awesome. So how can people support you, help you, and watch your new show, Life with MTG?
Thank you so much. Yes, Life with MTG. It's posted on all my social media, and this is me opening up the world to my life because I am a regular person, and I'm interested in many things outside of politics, and I'm interested in people, and that's why I went and talked to Ansley Brown about why the data center is taking away her childhood home. It's why I went to Texas and wanted to learn about screwworms because I think that's being totally covered up, and many other issues, and also showing people how to live. Um, happy and healthy and passionately, and so we don't all drown in the stupid lies and garbage all over social media.
Yeah.
We can also be real people and connect with one another, and I think that's incredibly important. So I hope people tune in and watch. I'm having fun doing it, and looking forward to do it some more.
All right. Well, congratulations on the new house and your
Thank
new
you.
marriage and all of the amazing things that you're doing. I love seeing it. Be human. That's what we need to do is just be human.
Mhm.
They don't want us to be human. They want us mired in all of their BS and the darkness and the lies,
Mhm.
and they want us to care, and we just shouldn't care anymore. So,
No,
Marjorie,
don't they don't deserve our care.
they don't. They
They
don't.
don't
All right.
deserve it.
Keep up the great work. I hope
Mm.
we only touched the surface. I hope to have you on again soon, and appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shannon.
Oh, no problem. All right, guys. That was the amazing Marjorie Taylor Greene. Again, we only had a half an hour, so we couldn't get in too deep on any of those topics, but I did want to make sure we were alerting everyone to the dirty business in Washington, D.C. with the NDAA Section 219. It is treason. I agree with Marjorie. It is going to be voted on today, and it would permanently integrate U.S. military technology and supply chains and intelligence with Israel's. If passed, according to Redacted, this wouldn't be a temporary arrangement. It would lock in a long-term defense merger that reaches across presidential administrations and pushes America even further under Israel's strategic control. This is outrageous. It is outrageous. If you have time today, might be a good time to call your congressman or your senator, because this is going to be worked up in the Senate as well. Representative Thomas Massie, of course, the only Republican opposing this, but the House already moved to rule forward without allowing that real debate, which we talked about, or a separate vote on Massie's amendment, sending this bill closer to the Senate with the most controversial parts still intact. That doesn't mean we can't still stop it, right? Like, sunlight is the best disinfectant, and it has a way of moving things and pushing agendas that would not normally be pushed if we weren't willing to stand up and tell the truth. And it was a miracle that Tom Massie and Ro Khanna and that coalition were able to get the original tranche of Epstein files released. They were never supposed to see the light of day. President Trump and the Republicans and his administration did everything they possibly could to control the release of those files and subdue them. They weren't able to do that. So if you believe that we could succeed in getting those files released, well, then we can also succeed in perhaps stopping NDAA Section 219. So please share this show with everyone you know. And let's get to it. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. If you're watching right now on Rumble, please smash that thumbs up button right now. It helps us with the algorithm, helps to grow the show. Leave a comment in the comment section, but most importantly, join us on the live chat. When we come back, I want to talk to all of you, answer your questions, read your comments, and talk about the news of the day. We also have a little bit to discuss on the Tate brothers. I wanted to get into detail a little bit more with Marjorie about the second initiative by Thomas Massie. It is the release of the Epstein Files 2.0, and it's an amazing new effort. There are still millions of files that have not been released, and this initiative, again, that coalition coming together again, Tom Massie, Ro Khanna, and more representatives in Washington, D.C. are beginning to open up to the idea of this second round of files being released, which is incredibly important. And so we didn't get to that, but we can talk about it on the live chat. So everyone stay tuned. Keep it tuned right here. By the way, if you're on YouTube, thank you so much for being with us today on the Shannon Joy Show. Please give the show, of course, a thumbs up. And in the commercial break, I'm going to check out the YouTube chat and the Twitter chat and see if we can't take some of their comments as well. So keep it tuned right here. We will be back in a moment on the Shannon Joy Show. Hey everyone. So I just recently finished my very first ivermectin membendazole parasite cleanse from the wellness company, and I feel great. I feel great. The big medical hack of 2025 was several peer-reviewed studies identifying the direct connections between anti-parasitic medications having off-label benefits, fighting a wide variety of cancers. And this makes sense The connection between tumor growth and parasites has been known for many, many years. So while the CDC remains silent on all of this, they have admitted that millions of Americans are suffering from parasitic infections that often go undetected or undiagnosed. So this is why Dr. Peter McCullough, Chief Scientific Officer over at the Wellness Company and friend of the Shannon Joy Show, and the world's most published cardiologist, says these studies make a clear case to do at least one medical grade parasite cleanse annually. And I just finished mine and I feel really good. I feel great that there's nothing lurking in there. I've never done a parasite cleanse before, and the peace of mind is great, but I also feel a lot of mental clarity and I just feel good. The Wellness Company's product is a proprietary USA compounded ivermectin and bendazole. It's doctor prescribed, gold standard, a combination dose, and it's designed to help the body eliminate parasites plus other incredible benefits. Each bottle contains 90 capsules, and this is enough to complete 4 21-day cleanses. This high-strength formula cannot be found at your local pharmacy, but the Wellness Company removes the red tape by making the process fully digital. So you're going to fill out a quick intake form, a doctor is going to review it, and your medical-grade parasitic cleanse arrives in just a week. It is time for a new you. Reset and own your health. Go to twc.health/joy. That's twc.health/joy. Use the JOY promo code and you are going to get 60% off your entire order plus free shipping. That's 60% off plus free shipping for 4 medical grade 21-day parasite cleanses from the Wellness Company. It's a great product. You're going to love it. twc.health/joy. Folks over at the satellite phone store as well. sat123.com/joy. JOY gets you 15% off every time you shop anything and everything you need for the end of the world, the zombie apocalypse, alien invasion. They've got generators. They've got satellite phones. They have satellite phone packages. They have Faraday bags and beanies and protective devices. They have solar panels, generators, anything you need. They have it at the satellite phone store, and they've been amazing sponsors of the Shannon Joy Show for the past 2 years. They're unbelievable. sat123.com/joy, sat123.com/joy. JOY promo code gets you 10% off all the time on everything.
I never planned to start a skincare company. I was just trying to help my family. We were dealing with skin issues that conventional products simply were not fixing. And the more I researched, the more I questioned what was actually in the products we were using every single day. As a mom, I couldn't ignore it, and I became deeply concerned about our constant exposure to endocrine disrupting chemicals, especially in products we were putting on our skin and on our children. So I started making my own. That's how North Idaho Tallow began. Today, I handcraft every product myself in North Idaho using thoughtfully chosen ingredients like grass-fed tallow, jojoba oil, and pure essential oils. You will never find synthetic fragrance oils in any of my products. Everything is made in small batches, filled by hand, carefully weighed, because my standard is simple. If I wouldn't use it on my own family, I will not sell it to yours. What started as a way to care for my family has grown into something I'm incredibly proud to share with yours. This is North Idaho Tallow. Traditional ingredients, thoughtfully made, no compromises.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. Of course, make sure that you go to idahotallow.com/joy. That is idahotallow.com/joy for the soap, scrub, and soothe bundle. This is the bundle that I use. I love, 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 love these products. And you can get the entire bundle for $29 plus free shipping. It is the lowest price point that you are going to find on these absolutely beautiful, elegant products. It is all natural, no preservatives, no additives, and at drugstore pricing. So I have eliminated, this stuff is so gentle that I use it on my face. So I've eliminated my soap, my lotion, my face soap, my face lotions, all of the things. The only thing that I use is Idaho Tallow, and it locks in that moisture all day. So go to idahotallow.com/joy. That is idahotallow.com/joy. All right, let's hit the live chat on the SJ show. Very feisty today. And it was great to see. Great to see you, Lloyd, on YouTube. We have a lot of YouTube listeners today. LT Oracle of Truth is with us on the live chat. Hey, Gaelic Monkey, great to see you. Silver Country, thank you so much for your $5 donation on the live chat. Did you guys know that you can support the SJ show through Rumble and send out donations on the live chat? I always appreciate a donation. So Silver Country, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Hey, Strident Conservative, great to see you as well. Great link to the legislation that will integrate the U.S. military with a foreign nation, that foreign nation being the nation of Israel. We also did not get a chance to talk about the genocide happening in Gaza. It's something that Marjorie Taylor Greene has been pushing out recently. And, you know, it's interesting in conservative Republican circles, I think that the population has been so propagandized by, you know, the narrative about Israel versus Palestine, Hamas versus the Israeli army, what is happening, you know, in Palestine, the terrorists, Islamification, all that type of stuff. That I think that it's very difficult for those on the right who are tethered to right-wing news media and that propaganda to believe or understand what is actually happening in Gaza and in Palestine. And from my perspective, and you know, one of the reasons I've had trouble with this issue is because there is a lot of propaganda from both sides of the aisle on this. But I did link in the show notes today of the Shannon Joy Show, and this is something that I want to spend some time on with Marjorie Taylor Greene because, and others as well. I want to find some good experts. I am of the belief now that there is a full-scale genocide happening. There are atrocities being committed in Gaza by Israel, and the United States of America is funding it. And we just cannot stand by and let this happen. I have attached it's a website called archivegenocide.com. And it is one of the most exhaustive and well-sourced resources with videos and images, highly horrifyingly disturbing videos and images. But it has links to hundreds of independent investigative journalists who are not representing either side of the political aisle, who have been on the ground, eyewitness testimonies, and all of the resources and evidence that anyone who is skeptical about what is happening in Gaza would need to go in and actually get some real information. And so I linked that in the show notes of my show today. And it is going to be something that I'm going to continue to be looking at over the next few months and probably the next few years, because this is horrifying, absolutely horrifying. And they've turned Palestine into a parking lot. Literally, they have raised. I mean, the images of that region before the war and after, I mean, they have obliterated everything. It looks like a nuclear bomb was dropped on that region. And what is even more concerning is the deal that has been cut by Jared Kushner on behalf of the Trump family and Donald Trump to essentially own that region. And when the dust settles and all of the atrocities are forgotten and the reckoning never happens, Donald Trump is going to build a casino and run one of those tech magnates or those technates where there's no government. It's just basically a corporate owned entity, a corporately owned parcel of land where there are no rights, total surveillance, digital ID, digital surveillance. It is the embodiment of the most grotesque version of a technocracy that they plan to build in Gaza. And it's Trump's. He owns it. The Board of Peace is wholly owned by the Trump family, and he's appointed himself president forever, right? The USD1 is the currency, and they have hired a private standing army to protect the border. So this is the brave new world of essentially, I mean, how can you explain what these are? I mean, clearly it's just crazy. It's crazy. Future as Shannon, all you have to do is research how Israel was formed and what happened in 1948 called the Nakba. Well, we're going to look into it, Future as. We are going to look into it. LT Oracle of Truth, waiting for my joy bundle. I'm very allergic to artificial fragrance. It's like kryptonite to me. LT, you are going to love Idaho Tallow. You are going to love Idaho Tallow. And I have a couple new actual sponsors that I'm going to be introducing. One today after the show, by the way, a brand new sponsor of the SJ show, and then one next week. As you guys know, I scour, like I get a lot of offers for sponsorship. I talk to a lot of advertisers about sponsorship of the SJ show. I'm always looking at different deals and negotiating. What I've been doing recently over the past year is really going out and looking for partners that I want to partner with, finding companies that I'm already using or that I love their products and begin to develop relationships with them. And so I'm going to be introducing two new sponsorships, one today after the show, actually right after the SJ show today. If you guys are watching on Rumble, I want you to stick around because I'm going to be introducing Neutronics, which is a brand new company, or it's not a brand new company. It's actually a very well-established company. But they are sponsoring the Shannon Joy show, and I'm conducting an interview with some of the primaries there. It is an amazing product. They have basically Neutronics Labs. They are the world's leader in IGF-1, which is derived from deer antler velvet. I kid you not. I know it sounds crazy. I actually interviewed one of their medical doctors, Dr. Bruce Fong, like 2 or 3 years ago, and used their products. I have recently been using, and that was premenopause. I've been recently using their women's formula. And the interview that I did with him is about a month and a half old. I did it about a month and a half ago. I've been using their product ever since. And I have so much to say about it. I'm not going to say it now. I'm going to let you guys take a look at the interview that I'm going to run after this show. It's called Make Men Men Again with Neutronics. It's an amazing interview with obviously Dr. Bruce Fong and Ron Oliver, who is a fitness coach and a coach of many, many professional athletes, such as Roy Jones Jr. So I interviewed them about a month and a half ago. You guys are going to love that interview. I'm going to run it. We're going to close down this show at right around 1:40. And then I want everyone to stay tuned. Keep it right here on my channel because I'm going to start up that show in about 5 minutes after. And you can watch that special dedicated program. But a tiny bit of all natural testosterone, right? It basically, the IGF-1 completely naturally helps to boost testosterone levels just a little bit. Miracle for women who are dealing with menopause. And my results have been unbelievable, unbelievable. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Mr. Worthless Eater is with us on the live chat. I'm telling you all that Israel is the enemy. We're not going after Jewish people, Mr. Worthless Eater. Absolutely not. As Marjorie Taylor Greene said, this is not about Judaism. This is not about people who practice Judaism. This is not about Jews. This is not about a race or a culture or a people who practice a religion. This is about a government, a secular government in Israel that has gone rogue, that is wicked, that is committing genocide, not only against the Palestinians, but also against their own people during the dark days of COVID with those lockdowns and the injections of 99% of their population. So they're genociding their own people, the government. I do believe we have a hostile government in the United States of America. It's not about Americans. It's not about citizens like you and me. It's about our government, our wicked, wicked, co-opted and corrupted governments that are running roughshod over humanity. That's the issue. And so it is always a straw man to go after and try to paint all Jews or all people who practice Judaism or everyone of Jewish heritage as the bad guys. And so if you do that, you're falling for a trap. So I would like for people to stop making it about that and making it about the government. So Mr. Worthless Eater, I'm not in all caps. I'm not going after random Jews. You're denying the existence of a Jewish criminal terrorist cabal, Shannon. I'm not stupid. Mr. Worthless, you can call it the Israeli government. You can call it a secret alliance. It's an atheistic alliance. It's a secular alliance. It's not about the practice of Judaism or the Jews. And so when you make it about all of the Jews, then you're painting with a broad brush and you're falling for a trap. So I would just encourage you not to do that. It is very easy to say the secular government of Israel or the secret cabal of Zionists, which are atheistic and secular, have nothing to do with the Old Testament, has nothing to do with the practice of Judaism. And it's a way that they trap people. And I'm just not into it because there are a lot of wonderful, amazing, practicing Jews who are on the right side of history and who are fighting against this. And I've met many of them. So this is it is a semantics argument, but it's an incredibly important argument, because I think one of their tricks is to try to get people to become racist and intolerant and bigoted and distract them from the real predators and the real criminals. And those are the people in positions of power. Mr. Worthless Eater, you say the Jews. When you say the Jews, he's arguing with me. I never said all of the Jews. You are, Shannon. Mr. Worthless Eater, when you say the Jews are responsible for ... you are by default painting all Jews, male, female, young, old, you name it, as the culprits behind ... So I would say the Israeli government or the secret Zionist cabal or the oligarchs or the technates. Exactly. So, I mean, see, this is why I don't want to get involved in these, because it's never good enough for anyone, right? I'm never mean enough to all of the Jews, and it's just crazy. It's crazy. Bye Jew says, why is it okay to label the Muslims? Well, I don't. I know plenty of really wonderful, amazing, practicing Muslims who are not Islamic terrorists. They are not, trying to take over the United States of America. They're just regular Muslim immigrants in the United States of America practicing their religion. I don't think anyone should paint with a broad brush over anyone. I'm a Christian. I would appreciate if people don't lump me in with the Christ is King, Tate brother protecting people like Candace Owens, right? There are a lot of Christians and Christian organizations that are responsible for putting people like Donald Trump in office, a guy who is very clearly and blatantly not a Christian. Mark the Regan. I think Shannon looks nice today. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Chronozone 777. Shannon, you are correct. Thank you. Strident Conservative has this to say. Section 224 isn't bad because of Zionism. It's bad because we are surrendering our sovereignty to another country. Precisely, Strident Conservative. Thank you so much. If Section 224 surrendered our sovereignty, our military, and our intelligence to the Chinese, we'd have a problem with it. If it surrendered our sovereignty to the Russians, we'd have a problem with it. If it surrendered our sovereignty to the British government, we would have a problem with it. And we wouldn't be mad at all of the Chinese people and all of the Russian people and all of the British people. We would be mad at the governments that are putting together the secret treaties, the secret alliances that are going to crush humanity and end our sovereignty. So this is like, let's apply the exact same strategy and the exact same analysis to Israel or the Jews that we would if we were talking about Russia or China or Ukraine or the UK or the United States of America, for that matter, right? I have completely removed all of my support and consent from the existing United States government. I am completely opposed to all of them. The legislation, the bureaucracy, both political parties, the president of the United States of America. I oppose everything that is coming out of this corrupted, wicked, evil government. I'm an American. I would prefer to not be painted with a broad brush as supportive of what this president is doing. All right, Mr. Worthless Eater. This is the last one I'm going to read. I disagree. I even touched that base with an irate Jew in your comments, Shannon, who was also very angry with this mess. Let's at least agree it's an identity problem that needs to be. I don't think it is an identity problem. I don't think that that all the Jews are responsible for all the bad things happening any more than I think that all the Americans are responsible for all the bad things that are happening right now, or all the Muslims. Okay, so I'm just not doing that. I'm not doing this identity character assassination of a whole group of people based on what their government is doing. And some of them agree with it, and they're bad people. Some of them are complicit in this. They're bad people. Some of them are apathetic. I think that's bad too. You can apply all of that to the United States of America as well. I mean, we're the one giving them all the money. Why are we so mad at the Jews, by the way? Aren't we mad at ourselves? Shouldn't you be mad at we the people? If we're going to paint with broad brushes, it is the United States government through our budgeting process and through the NDAAs and through all of these appropriations and the president of the United States that is handing over billions of dollars to Israel so that they can do whatever it is they want in the Middle East. It is the United States of America and our government, with the consent of Republicans and the Republican Party, that is waging a war for the Israeli state in Iran that is of no benefit to the American people or this country. So why aren't we mad at the Americans, the Christian Americans that are making all of this happen? Why is it just the Jews? So come on. Come on. I'm just done with this. Green Tea 369. It's a difficult conversation that we shouldn't have to be afraid to discuss in America. I actually don't think it's that difficult. It's not that difficult. You don't paint with a broad brush any wholesale group of human beings based on their race, their religion, their identity, their sex, their gender. Like, you don't say all men are this and all women are this. You don't say all white people are this way or all black people are this way. You don't say all Christians or all Muslims or all Jews. So this is not difficult. I'm surprised we have to have this discussion. And when you say the Jews, you are implying, Mr. Worthless Eater, that you're saying all Jews. If people say the Christians are responsible for all of the atrocities and everything bad that is happening, you are by default implying that Christians in general, meaning all Christians. Oh my gosh. Seriously. There is such an easier way to discuss this. Mark the Reagan. Good to see you. All right. Who else do we have here on the live chat? Thank you, Max Klitman. It's not the Jews, it's Israel. Thank you. Or the Zionists. I'm okay with, Zionism is a political ideology and a political agenda. It's actually, I think, quasi-satanic. It might be like a satanic cult. But yeah. Nazis do not represent Future as a group of humans. The Nazis were a political party, a socialist political party under the Third Reich. So there's no like race of Nazis or Nazi religion or practicing Nazis who go to Nazi church. So yeah, I'm okay with Zionists. I think that could be accurately defined as a political ideology of political origin. And again, as I mentioned, I think it's like a secret satanic like type of thing. Swavek, it is a satanic cult ruling our world. You are right, Shannon. That's fine. But definitely 100% not all Jews. Hey, Cotton33, great to see you. Zen woman, most Islamic people practice the golden rule better than Christians. Interesting. I mean, listen, we were seriously indoctrinated as Christian conservatives on the right post 9/11 as justification for the war in Iraq in response to 9/11, severely propagandized to believe a lot of, I think, false statements about Muslims in general. And I can say that honestly. There was a major fear operation. We were afraid of Islamic terrorists. We were afraid of Islamic terror cells, which there are some. They're very, very bad Islamic terrorists out there. I'm not saying that they don't exist. But yeah, we were definitely propagandized into severely fearing Muslims in general. And I'm just not doing that anymore. I'm just not doing it. Dakota Feather, great to see you. Can you interview Harvey from Geopolitics and Empire? Great interview with him yesterday. Yeah, thank you so much, Dakota Feather. Harvey, this is an amazing Substack page, Geopolitics and Empire. And Harvey is amazing. I did an interview with him yesterday, well over an hour. It's posted on the Geopolitics and Empire Substack, and we talked about all of the big picture stuff. It was a great conversation. And Dakota Feather, 100%, I will interview Harvey. 100%. So guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we come back. We're going to close out the show. Questions, comments tomorrow. It's you and me, mano a mano. I am going to be welcoming Larry Sharp into the Joy Virtual Studio for a little bit tomorrow to talk about our gubernatorial run here in New York State. So he's running for governor of New York. I am his running mate at running for lieutenant governor, and we have some updates there for all of you. So that is tomorrow, but the majority of the show is going to be news of the day and you and me. So we're going to get to a lot of topics tomorrow. But very quickly, let's go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll close out the show right here on the Shannon Joy Show. Hey everyone, I just want to take a moment to thank one of my longtime friends, associates, my financial advisor, and a beloved sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show, Don Polano over at PCM and Associates. Don Polano, as many of you know, was the very first Shannon Joy Show advertiser almost 12 years ago, and he's been with us ever since. I trust Don Polano. He manages some of my assets and my retirement fund, and he's offering his services to all of you. He can take clients anywhere in the country and even across the globe over at PCM and Associates. And as you guys know, it is so important today. There's so much volatility and chaos. You need a human being, a person that you trust, and a person that shares your values. And that's Don Polano at PCM and Associates. So if you are looking for someone to help you manage your retirement or have investment advice, please consider calling Don Polano over at PCM Associates. His number, 1-800-536-1368. That's 1-800-536-1368. And of course, you can go to PCMPolano.com. That is PCMPolano.com to learn about all of his services and get in contact with his team. Again, so thankful for Don Polano at PCM and Associates, and I think that you are really going to appreciate his services. So that number again, 1-800-536-1368 for a financial advisor that you can trust. Hey everyone, I am so proud to recommend Shift Gold to my audience as the gold standard for metals purchasing and investing. I couldn't ask for a better partner to help people understand gold and silver and use them as a strategic instrument to protect their family's financial future. Peter Schiff's teaching on markets has shaped my understanding of how economies grow and why they collapse. And I have used him as a critical source for my daily broadcast for over 10 years. The Shannon Joy Show audience already knows and loves Peter because he has been such a treasured educator over the years. He is now the preeminent source for rock-solid financial analysis all over the world. And this is because he understands the immutable laws of natural markets and his stalwart unwillingness to veer from the absolute truths, regardless of economic fads and political pressure. Bottom line, he doesn't sell out, and that means a lot to me. I trust Shift Gold, and you can too. Go to shiftgold.com/joy today to get started. You'll find some of the lowest spot prices on gold and silver and critical information on protecting your retirement savings with a gold and silver IRA. That's www.shiftgold.com. Hedge against the chaos with our friends over at Shift Gold. Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment of the SJ Show. If you missed my interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene in the first half hour of today's show, make sure you go back and watch it. She was feisty, and I agree with her. It is time for a revolt. It is time for a revolution in the United States of America, peaceful, of course, through withdrawing our consent in hopefully a million different ways. That's what I'm excited about over the next 3 to 5 years. I think we have an opportunity, a unique opportunity. People are seeing through the uniparty fraud. They're seeing through what's happening in Washington, D.C., and more people are waking up. And so it was a killer interview, shorty, only 30 minutes. I want to get her in for longer if I can in the next couple months. Thomas Massie also, we're working on him in the next couple weeks as well. So make sure you are following the Shannon Joy Show. Smash that thumbs up button right now on Rumble. It helps us immensely with the algorithm. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, you've watched the show, do it right now. It really helps out. And of course, sign up for the Shannon Joy e-blast. This is everything. www.theshannonjoy.com is my website. Sign up for the e-blast. You're going to get my show notes, an overview of the show, and links to the show every single day. We don't put a lot of fluff in there. The open rate is over 50%. It's a very clean email list. I don't send you a bunch of spam. It's just basically what we do every day on the show, and it links me directly to you in case there's ever any deplatforming. That's happened multiple times with my show over the past 13 years. That email list is my direct connection to all of you. So if you haven't signed up for the Shannon Joy e-blast, do that right now. www.theshannonjoy.com. That's theshannonjoy.com. Mr. Worthless Eater, you were a very worthy adversary today in our little debate. Love having these conversations on the live chat. I never mind when people disagree with me and when people want to have discourse, but I appreciate this. You win, Shannon. Thank you. No, it's your show. But remember, the real tyrants are those we are not allowed to even criticize, which they are illegalizing right now. Read the legislation. It says Jews. And we just disagree. I think that we need to really focus in and narrowly identify the people who are doing the bad things. And so the rhetoric matters. The words mean everything. And when you broad brush, when you paint over an entire population of people, whether it's Christians, Americans, Muslims, men, women, Jews, Gentiles, whatever, anytime you do that broad brush, you're losing sight of the people who are really doing the criminal things. And so this is why I'm always very careful with my words, right? I don't have a problem with Americans. I have a problem with the United States government. I have a problem with Donald Trump. I have a problem with his administration. I had a problem with Joe Biden. I have a problem with the Democrat Party and the apparatus, the Republican Party and that apparatus. Not all Republicans, not all Democrats. Some of them are in there doing good things, like Tom Massie and Ro Khanna, right? So it's important to be very specific, or else you can be labeled or your message can be diluted by bad people who want to thwart our ability to communicate with each other. And that's just my opinion. I appreciate you, Mr. Worthless Eater. And that's all I have to say about that. Who else do we have here? Han Soto 1, great to see you. Oh gosh, yeah, bye-bye. Roy Jones Jr. is not on my show. His trainer is. So we have a little something different today, guys. I'm going to end the show in about 3 minutes. And I want all of you to stay right here and sign right back on, because I'm going to launch another show, a special. It is with the founders of Neutronics Labs. They are a new sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show, and they have really great deals on some of their products, but they're basically the world's leader in IGF-1. So this is an all-natural substance derived from deer antler velvet extract. And the guests that I'm going to interview are Dr. Bruce Fong. He's the medical director over at Neutronics, and also Ron Oliver, who is a fitness coach and the coach of Roy Jones Jr. And so this is I've been on this product now for about a month and a half, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. It's for women, it's just a little bit. It helps to spur on the processing of testosterone, and it's been a life changer for me. You're going to learn all about it in this next show. It's a really interesting show, and they also have some really great deals for the Joy audience as well. So it's a sponsored show, but full of great information. The title is "Make Men Men Again." crisis with testosterone, particularly with men, but it can be very helpful for women who are, like myself, going through menopause, which is not fun. All right, so this is going to be a great show. It's coming up next right here on the Shannon Joy Show. GD Plemons, great to see you on the live chat. Tons of new names on the live chat. I absolutely love that. You guys are great. So yeah, tomorrow, full show. We're going to start around 12:15, 12:20-ish p.m. Eastern time. Larry Sharp, he's libertarian, independent, running for governor of New York. I'm his running mate. We have some updates on our pursuit of the governorship of the great state of New York State. It is in process. And we are going to be talking about other news of the day as well. Dakota Feather, thank you for linking everyone to Geopolitics and Empire. Amazing Substack. I use it all the time here on the show, and he gets it. That's so funny. LT Oracle of Truth. I've known about deer antler velvet since the 90s. I wanted to raise elk. It's big, big money. I'm telling you guys, I have so much to say about this. Devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy wants to try it now because he's seen such a difference in me. And it's crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah, CJP Rumble, MTG brought the boys to the yard. You're so funny. Max, we don't still need signatures, but we're going to need some other things. So we'll talk about that tomorrow with Larry Sharp here on the SJ Show. Anyway, thank you guys for being with us today on the Shannon Joy Show. Thank you to our sponsors. Keep it tuned right here. We're going to launch my SJ special, Make Men Men Again, with Neutronics Labs in just about 5 minutes. So check back in right here on my channel on Rumble. It's a really interesting conversation. You guys are going to love it. And you're going to get access to some really great deals and specials on deer antler velvet, which is it's just amazing. All right. So you guys have a great day. We will see you tomorrow, and we'll do it all again right here on the Shannon Joy Show.